Three filmmakers, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, and Harold Lloyd, were the greatest of the American comedy directors. Before them, there was mostly slapstick. This sight gag on a fast-moving train was typical, a good cheap laugh using a bucket of water. But then came Keaton, obsessed by the camera. In this scene from his film The Cameraman, he shows that fascination. Keaton became the greatest comic image maker the cinema had yet seen. He thought like an architect. In this sequence, in a short film he made in 1920, the house he's built becomes a playpen. It falls around him. Keaton helped define silent cinema. He just got it. We've already seen that he got that in editing. A cut replaces one space with another. Here he jokes about it, as if, as he's walking down a street, he's suddenly on a cliff top. But as this scene shows, he also got that movies are about looking. And he got that they're brilliant at daredeviling. He begins this sequence with an overhead shot to make the building look really high. In the story, Buster must jump between the tall buildings. He had a set built above this 3rd Street tunnel in LA, right at the very top of this old archive shot of the tunnel. Keaton's camera position makes him look far higher up than he was. There was a net just below, out of shot, just as well, because Keaton didn't make it and was badly bruised. Keaton's inventiveness was often highly planned, but sometimes spontaneous. Here he saw a train arriving and so improvised a gag to make it look like he himself stopped it, then started it again. One of his greatest movies, The General, was a comedy epic about a train. It's set during the American Civil War. Buster's a southern train driver, a bit eccentric, obsessed by detail. In the first half of the film, he travels north to the captive's lair and rescues his sweetheart. Every visual joke and setup in the first half is repeated and amplified in the second, but in reverse order. We get the pattern. We see the next joke coming and we're laughing before it even starts. The climax of the film has been called the most stunning visual event ever arranged for a comedy, perhaps for any kind of film. The northern enemy's advancing, so Keaton sets fire to a bridge. Their train crosses, the bridge gives way. This is no trick shot. The locomotive and the bridge were real. The wreck of the train was visible for years to come. Such scale, such sublime, was a key element of silent film. Labour was cheap. Wall Street hadn't crashed. Imaginations were extravagant and uncapped. Studios were not yet afraid of the size of directors' dreams. Keaton's dreams outstripped his box office. He was eventually sacked by MGM. He hit the bottle and lived in a trailer in a car park beside his former studio. He was forgotten for years. But as this rare archive footage of him shows, Keaton was joking till the end. This little cigarette routine shows he still had the urge to improvise. In 1965, at the Venice Film Festival, he got a standing ovation. He died the next year.